happy to arrange funding for you. I am available on my LinkedIn. You search my name, Tushar Kansal. I'm also available on my website, consultancy.com with a K. We are into equity investments. We arrange funding for startups and growth stage companies. We arrange venture capital, and we arrange equity money from family offices, from hedge funds, from angel investors. I am personally networked with more than 400 global investors, right from Singapore, US, UK, Dubai, Hong Kong, India.
Businesses are not just local or even national anymore. Good ideas are immediately global, so the market opportunities are much larger than we've ever imagined or seen. Hello and welcome to Rabbi Rashi Foundation, financial advisory, investment management, venture capital, mentoring, raising money for your VC fund, mergers and acquisitions, pitch deck. Does all this sound really difficult? It does. But you know who's made it easy? Tushar Kansal. He's made it very easy for all of us. Tushar Kansal, founder and CEO at Kansaltancy Ventures. Excellent with all these services. All the services have been simplified by Tushar. Tushar, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है. To start with, Tushar ji, please share with us your professional story with the world in short and how you got into this. Over to you.
My journey has been academically. I am a engineer and MBA finance from Delhi University. I did my executive education from Harvard Business School. Post that, I had my own education business, which was 800 students and 3 centers, and we sold it to Narayana Institute in 2006. I have worked in my previous life for corporates like Deloitte and Touche, where I was part of the private equity practice. I was part of the team at Brand Capital, which is Times of India's venture arm. I was also heading treasury with MTS India, which is the Russian company Sistema's India unit. Raised almost $2.5 billion for the company in 3 years. And I was CFO of a company owned by Guggenheim Partners, the $200 billion American PE fund. I am a mentor and judge at entrepreneurship cells of IIT Delhi, IIT Mumbai, IIT Chennai, and IIT ISM Dhanbad. Um, I'm also a venture advisor with Loyal VC, the INSEAD-led Canadian VC fund, having a core portfolio of over 160 investments in more than 35 countries. Have done a number of deals in technology and non-technology across sectors. My opinion is sought by CNN News 18, Venture Capital TV, Business World, Business and Economy, Curious, Digital Market Asia. Have appeared in more than 100 talks. They are available all on YouTube if you search by my name.
A lot of good work in a very short time, but definitely a lot of hard work. That is what Tushar Kansal is all about. Tushar, please talk us through on the services offered by your brand.
We are a boutique investment bank, and we are also an investment management company. We offer funding for venture capital funds, for private equity funds. We also arrange funding for startups, those who want equity funding, whether from family offices, from venture capital funds, from angel investors, from a variety of like from private equity funds. We also help in creating the documentation for this funding, like pitch deck, business plan, and valuation of the company. We are into mentoring startups and startup founders across areas like product, marketing, strategic planning, financial planning, and so on. One of the most important aspect how we support any startup looking for funding is by helping them with investor frequently asked questions, unit economics, term sheet negotiation, due diligence negotiation, and shareholders agreement negotiation. So we handhold the company right from initial to the time they get funded, and we are there on all calls, whether they are international calls or Indian calls, and we help right through the entire fundraising process.
So, Tushar, tell us about your role as a venture capitalist and how startups can benefit with you on board.
As a venture capitalist is to help startups and startup founders and also growth stage companies understand that what it takes to arrange funding from the markets, what it takes to have a process proper documentation and collaterals with you, and how to approach the investors. So a lot of the founders actually don't know how to approach this process, how to arrange funding, and that's where we come in. We are in the top boutique investment banks in India, and we have relationships with more than 400 global investors from Singapore, Hong Kong, US, UK, Dubai, and India. And we help tell founders how much money to ask, how to approach the questions asked by the investors, how to uh, uh, create a pitch deck, and how to lay down all the factors which investor might ask. So we are there across the value chain, across the entire spectrum of venture capital fundraising as an activity. I am personally an investor in 4 companies, one of which I exited some time back, and I'm still an investor in 3 companies. So I'm also very closely networked with the 400 investors, and it's taken almost 5 to 6 years to build these relationships. So we bring all this on the table when we are working for any client.
So, Tushar, coming to a pitch deck, how to make one? Please share a case study with us.
An investor, he is experienced, he's knowledgeable about the sector, and he really wants to know the entire business, and also wants to know how well you understand the sector. And so he looks at a few things which are a must for him to understand before he takes it to his investment committee, and then the investment committee takes it to the limited partner, and then they put in money. So first thing is problem statement. What is the problem you are solving for the customer? Who is your customer? So if you are Uber, you are solving the problem of finding taxis. If you are Big Basket, you are solving the problem of getting grocery in the house delivered. And second thing he wants to know is, what is your solution? Now, you might have understood the problem well, but if you haven't created the right solution, then the thing won't work. So what Uber did was, it created a solution by getting the power to call a taxi, and know the pricing, and know the distance, and know even if you have complaint about the driver, they brought it all on your smartphone. So the solution was very smart and accessible. Then the third thing is, what is the team behind? So it should be a balanced team. You should, if you are in technology business, there should be a technology founder or co-founder, and it should have product, marketing, HR, and a balanced team. Then market size. You have to target a market which is big. We call it the blue ocean strategy. Markets which are so big that they continue endlessly. You have created an app. Now this app, you can do a demo for the investor, and the investor will really like it because he will use it for himself and see. And so a product is very crucial to explain. Then business model is very important. It means, how will you make money from the product or service? Basically, the money making capability. Here we use two terms. One is minimum viable product, one is product market fit. So minimum viable product means that the money making capacity of your product, and the product market fit means that how does the product fit in the market, on all parameters: pricing, distribution, what's the strategy for raising money, what is the marketing plan, what is the HR plan. So it covers everything. The next thing which is important is traction. What is the business you are doing right now, the revenue which you are making right now, the operating profit. And the next one is competitor analysis. Who is your competition? So identifying your competition in front of the investor allows you to better explain your business. But since you are giving the name of the competitor, so you should also give the competitive advantages of your product over the competitors. Then the financial projections. You have to give 5-year projections. What is the business you are likely to do? Once you get this money from the investor, how will you put this money? How much business it will generate? When will you break even? When will you start turning a profit? And so on. The next is fund ask. What is the amount of funds you are asking from the investor, and the valuation at which you are asking. And if you are giving the fund ask, then you also give the use of funds. How much will you put in marketing? How much will you put in HR? How much in product? And so on. And the last thing is the future roadmap. In what time or what month you will achieve a certain number of customers, a certain number of markets where you will be present, a certain turnover which you will reach. And the entire roadmap, not only in financial terms but in terms of other achievements.
Okay, Tushar, coming to the investor side, how can investors protect themselves from making wrong investments? Over to
Very
you.
valid question, Rashi. So there are variety of ways in which the investor can protect himself. The first way is by doing a small due diligence. So you have to do the due diligence by talking to the distributor. Maybe you can talk to 2 or 3 distributors. You can talk to his employees. You can talk to his big customers. And also do a check on the background of the founder, whether he's from that college where he said he is. And if he's was doing a company job, then you can talk to the HR whether he was there. Accounting, which he has shown you the audited accounts, whether they are proper or not. And we can check the invoices, the bills, the GST. And we can check all these aspects. Then statutory due diligence, whether the company he has formed is under the right laws of the government, and he's in compliance with all the regulations. And the third one is contract due diligence. The contracts which he has entered into with other customers and suppliers and companies, whether they are in order, and what are these contracts, whether they are loaded in favor of the other parties or whether he has smartly negotiated these contracts. So all this can be done by an agency which does due diligence. It can also be a CA who has tie-ups in the local cities with other CAs. And so basically you have to check it from legal, statutory, regulatory, and accounting perspective, and also do a founder background check. So these are the important factors. Other than that, you can also put in clauses in the term sheet and shareholders agreement which protect your investment. So you can have exit clauses like what is the exit the promoters promise to you, and how will they give you the exit, whether through an IPO or by selling your shares to a new investor. Also, you can get rights on the company through the shareholders agreement. Like you will have a seat on the board of directors, or you will have a nominee seat on the board of directors. And there are certain rights which you get, like you can, if the company is selling an asset, or the company is recruiting a costly resource, or they are opening a new subsidiary, or they are entering new markets, So all these you can put under a category in the shareholders agreement called the reserved matters. So anything which happens under the reserved matter category, the company has to take your permission, and they have to inform you. And you can also put your rights as to the data which will be continuously shared by the company with you: the audited accounts, the pre-audited accounts, the board of the minutes of meeting of the board of directors. And so all these things you can safeguard yourself through the agreements, and the other things you can safeguard yourself by the due diligence process.
So much of knowledge on board available. Please get in touch with Tushar Kansal. I think he has amazing depth knowledge about investments and startups. Tushar, what is the awkward reality of the startup business? See, not all startups get funded. So let's talk about that. Over to you.
The awkward reality of the startup and funding ecosystem and the startup business is that many times, or rather most of the times, you are on day zero. You are treating every day as if it is day one. And there is a very less bureaucratic, more a culture of putting in the person who's taking responsibility, rather than bothering about designations, or bothering about, no, this department won't do this, so we can't give this responsibility to this department. Whichever horse is doing your work, you bet on that horse. And funding, cash crunch is a problem with most of these startups. So you have to be very, very good in your financial planning, and you should manage your cash flows very well. So cash flow management is very critical. But the sad part is that most of the startups, they, on the finance side, they keep a CA, but they don't keep a CFO. And the CFO is very important because he also acts like a financial controller, which means that he controls costs and expenses. But you have to, like a leader, you have to take it through the rough times by showing your best face. And that's the inherent part in the roles and responsibilities of any startup team member or founder.
Very decently and very beautifully put by Tushar Kansal. Tushar, what is your special message to all the startups and all the investors? Over to you.
Rashi, you have asked a very, a question which I'm very passionate, and I think deeply about these things. Uh, One thing entrepreneurs should understand is the meaning of being an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is someone who has chosen to do what he wants with his life. When you are doing what you want with your life, that is the greatest joy that you can have. But slowly, you forget that you are doing what you want. You start working for somebody else's expectations. That's not the way. If any human being finds full expression of who he is, always he will find success. If you compare yourself to somebody in another completely different area or arena of activity and put the numbers together, those numbers may be bigger. That's not the point. In your area of life, finding full expression is success. Take the example of Bhagavad Gita. Ensure you are fighting for the right cause and the right side. Be with nature from time to time. Sitting besides a whistling tree or a placid lake or walking bare feet is an act of supreme bliss. So these are my advice to young and grown up startup founders to relieve stress.
Someone rightly said business is not just about money, it is more about your growth and your mental stability. Success doesn't necessarily come from breakthrough innovation, but from flawless execution, where Tushar Kansal will and can help you. His details are available in this feed, on the poster, on the video.